How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the John Brown Gun Club, a bunch of far leftist individuals taking over a neighborhood in Seattle, aka Freeattle. I call it Freeattle because if you go there as a homeless junkie, illegal alien, whatever you want to be, you can get all kind of benefits, all kind of freebies, all kind of things that you should not get as a person that has that particular status, but that's a different story. And I digress. My whole point is that they have taken over a 6-block radius in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and they're calling it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, Chaz for short. Now, I think they've changed that to something else, but for this video, I'll call it Chaz. Now, there's a lot to this whole situation. First things first, the media are not really covering this whole thing very well, not at all. I don't see much media coverage, and the media coverage I do see is kind of like downplaying, like it's not really that serious, or they just LARPing, they just, it's a bunch of kids, all this, that, and the third, but you got 1,000 people, a lot of them are armed, and you don't really know who's in there. You got people that are probably on drugs, heroin, meth, crack, whatever, people that have arrest records, long criminal records with sexual assault, gun assault, all kind of things. Dangerous people that are in this mix, because when you have so many people in such a small area and they took it over in a radical fashion, you have no idea who's there. So the media are not covering it very well at all. And I think, and I'm pretty sure that I'm right, it's because they are leftists. If they were on the right or considered to be right at all, even right leaning, it'd be different. Remember Lavoy Finicum and the Wildlife Reserve in Oregon back in like 2015, 2016, I covered that story. They took over a wildlife reserve in the middle of nowhere, literally. Like there's nothing out there and nobody was even there when they took it over. They stayed there for a month and they were painted as terrorists and all kind of stuff. The coverage of that situation was much different and nobody was out there except for them, compared to this case where they're actually in the neighborhood. It's businesses right there. People live right there. So I mean, the coverage is crazy, but anyway, they've taken over this particular area. Now, there's a police station right here, and the police had set up a barricade to prevent them from taking over the police station. But at a certain point, they just retreated and left the police station. It just bounced, talking about, oh, it's de-escalation. De-escalation, if you retreat, then ain't no more escalation, de-escalation, you lost. It's like trying to talk about, oh, well, I was getting punched in my face over and over again, so I de-escalated by quitting. It's like, nah, you just lost the fight. You got beat. You got stomped down. You got stomped to whine. Therefore, you lost. Ain't no de-escalation, but I move on. They spray painted the building talking about Seattle People's Department or something crazy like that. It took the police basically out of the equation. They're not there anymore. And they tried to send some more police down to this zone, but they were shooed away by guards at the barricade. That's something crazy about this whole situation. The left, the far left especially, claim to be anti-border, anti-police, anti-law enforcement, but they have their own borders. They took the barricades the police had in front of the precinct and set them up around the perimeter. And they got guards operating in shifts on the perimeter. Okay, they got all kind of signs talking about smoking zone and, capitalist zone, all kind of stuff within the actual space. They're talking about, can you please bring some vegan options, meat-free options of food, just ridiculous, crazy stuff. They got all of that going on in there. And they have like a de facto warlord. There's a guy, I think he's a rapper, local or not, I'm not really sure. He decided he was going to be the de facto warlord, police or whatever. First, he was just kind of just helping, or not helping, but ordering guys to do the guard shift. Then when some of the people weren't obeying his commands, he was allegedly, I gotta say that for legal reasons, allegedly filmed slapping them around, beating them up because he wasn't taking their orders. And then he was allegedly heard saying that I'm the police now. So you see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm the captain now. You have that going on right now in this zone. And it's been, a day or two? Allegedly, there was also a sexual assault from a person that was a leader who was ousted by leadership. It's really weird. But you know what? The craziest part about all of this is that some of the city council are complicit in this. Kashama Savant, I spoke about her before. She's a far leftist, radical, crazy. You're talking about AOC on meth, okay? Fitting for Seattle. But anyway, she is actually on the city council, an elected official, and she let these so-called protesters, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, rioters, anarchists, she let them in the city hall after it had already been closed up by the mayor. And of course, when that happened, they occupied that building. Now, I don't really know what they are going to do when supplies run low. Sanitation might be a problem. They said it might be like 1,000 people that are there, and that could grow because you got a lot of homeless people that are right there trying to break in the mix, and other groups in different part of the state, maybe even the country, that come there. So it could grow, it could shrink. I'm not really sure, but I'm not really sure what they're going to do for sanitation or anything else that they're going to need as this whole thing continues, because they have demands. And if I can find those, I'll place those on the screen before you. They're talking about the total abolishment of the Seattle police, like no more police at all. And then they want to replace it with some kind of transformative accountability program. Basically, they want General Butt Naked to be in there telling you to stay in guard or else you're going to get punched in your face. That's basically what that is. Keep it all the way real. You're seeing what they want, a preview of it right now in real time. Okay, that's what they want. They don't want democracy. They don't want an election, because that's how it would normally go, right? If you want Antifa to be your government, you would go to the voting booth and vote for them and say, okay, I want lawlessness. I want chaos. I want General Butt Naked. Nah, they're taken over by insurrection. So they got lists of demands. And I think they also said they want all quote unquote minorities released from prison and or given a new trial. Just ridiculous things. Like I said, I placed it on the screen and also in the description box below. And they said until they get the demands met, they're going to continue to occupy this particular part of Seattle, aka Seattle. And I just feel for those who have to be right there living there. People that have businesses, they're being extorted, people that live right there, kids and everything else. And like I said, you probably got all kind of drugs going on. You got guns. They're legal, illegal, I don't really know. But I'm willing to bet that if you take over a city block by insurrection or a few city blocks by insurrection, you probably have some illegal guns in there, probably got bodies on them and everything else, probably stolen and everything else. But that's a different story. I'll move on. Anyway, I don't think that it's very safe in that particular little thing they have going on. Trump tweeted about it, talking about the governor, Jay Inslee, has no idea that Antifa, the anarchists or whatever, have taken over a portion of or the entirety of Seattle. If you are taking over a 6-block radius in Seattle, you basically taking the city, because the city are not doing anything to stop you. They're actually right there, or they were right there, the police that is, and they retreated. So if that's going on, what's to prevent them from advancing? You have lost the city if that is going on. And that's going to be the pattern that we're going to take going forward. There is no more Seattle. It has been taken by the so-called protesters, really just anarchists. Okay. Now, what's the end game? I don't know. In the case of Lavoy Finicum and the Wildlife Reserve in Oregon, I forgot really how it ended. I think a lot of them just left and went back because they were there for a while, like a month and some change. How long will this last? Like I said before, the wildlife refuge, that was middle of nowhere, nobody around for miles, all right? I'm talking about just wide open space. And the reason they were out there, by the way, is because they were protesting against the federal government usurping land from states. And they wanted the land that was owned by BLM, no correlation, Bureau of Land Management. They wanted that to go back to the states. Okay, that's all they were really talking about, really. But this here is way different. You're talking about a populated area with kids, neighbors, businesses. It's going to be a mess. I don't know how long they're going to be there, and I don't know how long they're going to talk about their autonomous. Okay, if you're hooked up to the city's internet, you're trying to get water, food, sanitation, and everything else from the city, you're not going to be autonomous for too long. And I hope they do something, because it's only a matter of time before these people really get active and start to shoot at regular people, police, and everything else. You got to do something. Trump can't really do much. He can bring awareness to it and let everybody know what's happening. But it's up to the Seattle City Council, the mayor, the governor to do something. And like I said, you have some city council members, including especially Kajana Savant, whatever her name is, that are complicit. I think at least 2 other city council members voted to defund the police by 50%. So they're not really on board. The mayor not doing anything. The governor don't even know what's going on. So I just hope for the people that live in Capitol Hill that this scourge is gone from you. It's really unfortunate, but this is what the left coast produces, okay? And it really just shouldn't be that way, not at all. And I hope after this, people take Antifa and Black Lives Matter seriously for what they actually are. Don't see them as just, trying to fight the racists. Nah, it ain't like that. These are radical anarchist insurrection groups that don't really care about anything else other than having their own vision of what they want the country to be. Forget democracy, forget voting, forget all of that. They're going to just force upon you what they want to force upon you. All right. If it were about the people and what we want, we would have a say so. Yes, we could say, all right, we want this kind of person or we don't. Kashana Savant, crazy as she is, actually got elected. So go about it her way. Don't just take over a neighborhood. That's ridiculous and that's crazy. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that these anarchists were right to take over a Freato neighborhood? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or were they not right? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You know where I stand. This is ridiculous. It's crazy. They need to bring some gas in there, odorless, colorless, knock everybody out. Put them in Gitmo, big rocks, little rocks, all that good stuff. Okay, they gotta go. If not, just because it took over some privately owned and or publicly owned land that does not belong to them, they also are just in general endangering people's lives that live there that don't want any parts of it. Okay, if I live right there, I'm just a regular normie, and I'm seeing all these dope fiends and crazy sexual predators just roaming around, and the police ain't doing nothing. I'm like, all right, well, what am I paying taxes for? What do I give to the police union for? What? I'm out here on my own, basically. I did not sign up for anarchy. When I moved to Freato, I just wanted a nice place to live. I didn't want to have to fend for myself. I didn't want third world country, okay? People don't come to the United States or live anywhere in the U.S. for a third world experience, especially not in a big city like Seattle. But if this is allowed to persist, all you're going to do is have more copycats, and they'll take other neighborhoods. And before you know it, you're looking at like Fallout 4, Division, some video game type stuff in real life. I think a lot of these people think they're playing a game and that it is a game, but you got to do something to let them know that it's not a game and it's dead serious. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.